So part of my journey began here in the forest. As you can see around me is amazing ancient trees. It's a combination of rainforest as well as man-made things. And I used to come in this area to play with my children. There was nothing nicer than riding our bikes and riding through an imagination, especially two small boys. My gosh, this is just everything to them on imagination level. But I would also bring my dog, Lucky, through the bush. I just needed time on my own. With everything that was happening to my mind or loss of mind, I needed to contemplate. And this became my psychologist and my psychiatrist. This is where I had aliens chasing me. Yes, you heard right. You see, I went from a logical, nurse, practical person to all of a sudden not being able to understand what was happening. Why was I seeing things and animals and dudes and ghosts and spirits running through the bush? Why were there these huge aliens, just massive, looking down on me? Back then it was horrific. Now I call them dudes, all spirit life, all connections, all dimensions dudes. But then I need to explain to you what I saw. Having that logical mind, I just didn't understand what was happening, and all of a sudden everything went quiet. The leaves weren't moving, the dog stood still, and I knew something was up. In my logical mind, I thought that there was somebody there. Somebody was stalking us. And I would hear like footsteps crunching through the leaves. I would hear the whish, swish of a branch, but it wasn't like the wind. And although I couldn't see them, I could see them. It was happening in my third eye and also in my heart, where I would see huge, and I mean huge beings that would come down and their face would come right into mine. They were massive. They didn't have teeth and they didn't have this grey look with big black eyes that everybody talks about on aliens and greys. They were just massive and they were not of form. So they weren't solid like us. They weren't hurting me, but my interpretation with my mind going was that they were chasing me. They were investigating me. And so when at one stage as I ran, I fell to the ground, I tripped over, and I thought, just surrender to them. I'm lost, completely lost. I don't know where I am. This bush is massive. I'm now off track. I just totally surrendered. And that's when I could hear them speak. But it wasn't hearing like our physical sense, and it wasn't clairsentient, clairvoyant, any of those psychic level. It was a oneness and a tone. And what they were saying was love, and that you have access the great awareness of the absolute. Still frightened though, I didn't know how to take it. And Lucky Dog just lay beside me. And yes, crying, even now I can feel the emotions of what it was like. Although now I embrace it, but back then, if you have a look around, it's like I became a small child, totally lost, not knowing where I am. Or even as a soul coming to planet Earth going, what on earth is this? What the hell is this? What is this tree? And even the dudes were saying, well, what is this? They were asking, what are the emotions? What am I going through? But again, I didn't understand. And then all of a sudden, the terror took over me again, and I bolted. I just had to get out of there. And I ran through the bush, and somehow I ended up back onto the main road. But I never told anyone, because the sheer fact of seeing aliens and being chased and losing my mind, I was sure to be locked up, definitely. I know, because when I was nursing, we would lock patients up for that. We would medicate them. So I share this information because so many people are opening up to cosmos and to consciousness, but it's not actually a negative thing. So part of this journey of coming into the forest was to be able to relate back to ancient lifetimes, and very much Atlantis and Lemuria. This particular bush holds beautiful energy of the ancients. of the trees, of the elements, of the divas. Yes, there was dudes or aliens, but what they helped me to do was connect to all the divas, all the like fairies and elementals that help these beautiful plants to grow. To understand that every plant and tree and animal in this state is part of the tree of life, or Kabbalah, or wisdom, or sacred geometry. And one of the things I was able to do was connect to a plant and be able to see and hear, but not with sight and not with normal hearing and not clairvoyant or psychic. I became the plant so that I understood I am that I am. And manifestation was instant. It was understanding the Lemurian consciousness of love. That this beautiful tree or these gorgeous weeds, or what we call weeds, they're not weeds, they're only love. And as I would walk through it, there was just sipples everywhere. I would gently just meander around, and there was a kangaroo, which was a symbol of Atlantis. Atlantis, they had like mixed breed animals. Look at a kangaroo, it's really odd looking. Big thighs and bottom, strong tail, little head, little arms at the front. It's marsupial, and that was Atlantis. And kangaroos represent fun and joy, and then I would have green tree snakes just drop down and be there. Not hurt me, not do anything. Symbols of Kundalini, symbols of awakening. There'd be brown snakes, poisonous brown snakes on the ground, and yet they only oozed love. All the divine birds, frogs, green tree frogs, meaning spiritual awakening. So this whole process was to open me up to absolute love. And you can see it in this forest. You can hear it in the trees. You can hear the trees talk. Not just the leaves or when the wind blows, but you become them, the I am that I am consciousness. And it is just the most amazing, amazing experience. So I thank this bush, being my psychologist, my psychiatrist, my counsellor. I would walk and talk, and the answers that I would get were extraordinary. And it wasn't a case of psychic. I cannot say that enough. It was the I am consciousness, the omnipresent, the oneness. So we have this illusion that there is God or a source, but it goes beyond. The absolute is the totality of all reality, seen and not seen. And as I would look at something, I would see the form and non-form take shape. I would access 0 point. I would be able to just know things and feel the completeness and the perfection of all creation. And you only have to listen and look. And then looking up at these amazing trees, even the signature of plants and what they do, and as I would walk through, there would be black boys, which are all about opening crown chakra. There would be palm trees, which are about spread the love. Every plant would tell me the signature of what it would mean in the healing property. Even the supposed weeds, which are not weeds. And I would see love hearts everywhere. Or even, you can see me holding these beautiful dry leaves. The energy from them was just so healing. And from a childlike mind, it was something to listen to them crunch and play with and see. It wasn't a bad thing, it was just amazing, absolutely amazing. So just listen. I want you to listen with me and tune in with me. Just take a breath. Everyone talks about mindfulness, but it's being one with the absolute mind, not the separate mind. It's like you just escape. We call children doing this dreaming or daydreaming or Asperger's or autism or whatever, but they're accessing the absolute. It is so incredible. And whilst I was here, this is where I got the information for all my courses, all the crystal gritting, all the being able to tap into teleporting, telepathic, I would be here, but I would also be in Lemuria at the same time. And it was like I was playing duality at the same time. It was fascinating. It felt like I would become a scientist and discovering things, but how do I explain it in human language? We're so limited. And so we limit them and say, this is a tree. But it's not. It's more than a tree. It is the I am that I am. And so as you can see, this pathway, the pathways just led me to exactly where I needed to go. And that's what you get when you come and do the courses with me as well. You will get to go where you need to go and be on purpose.